Hello, 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 and
Hello.
welcome to Jesse and Melva Live. And again, we're excited that you joined us today. We're getting used to this new platform that Brian has set us up in, so we might get a little clumsy for a minute, but bear with us. So today, this time, we're looking forward to sharing with you some other stories about different ways that people have achieved success in their love and marriage relationship. And you will find each time as we share a story and we share a particular challenge and the success that one or both partners had in the situation that we're presenting to you, you will find that some of the ideas that we share about what they did or what one of them did, you may find that it applies to you in some way. So stay with us. We're looking forward to our sharing today. So this is what we are going to cover. So the first thing that we're going to cover is we're going to talk about a success principle in terms of how it relates to a particular couple. We're going to call them Ted and Teresa. So we're going to tell you their story, and then we're going to share with you what she did, because she is the one who asked us the question about what to do. And come to find out, she did a lot of good things already on her own. So we're going to reinforce what she's already doing and her measurements of success for getting on the other side of this. And then you'll have an opportunity to do your own personal inventory if you're in a situation like she is in, and see if some of the ideas that she applied to her situation would be helpful to you. And then, again, we're going to invite a complimentary consultation. We're still doing those. We're preparing for the coaching class that we're going to be presenting online in the very near future. So you'll be hearing more about that. So Jesse, let's get started.
All right.
You ready?
I'm ready.
Okay.
You ready?
I'm ready.
Okay.
Okay. So the first thing we're going to do is share with you the story. Her name is Teresa. His name is Ted. Now, Ted and Teresa have been together for many years, and they really love each other. They decided that they didn't want to get married. They love the relationship, the situation, the way that it is. And so they really have built a life together. So as fate would have it, as life would have it, they had their day-to-day kind of situations to deal with over the years. One of them, I'm imagining that he had a core situation that he doesn't really have a resolution to, and she has one as well. And since she asked the question, we will share with you what hers is. So over the years, now Ted is the kind of person who he wants to make sure that other people are happy. So he wants to make sure that Teresa is happy. However, one thing that he does that has been very difficult for Teresa is that he makes promises that he can't keep, or that he doesn't keep. And while all this other good stuff is going on, it's been very difficult for her. And her feelings about that have built up over the years. Well, recently, over the past couple of years, Ted was dealing with an illness. And as a matter of fact, he has a chronic illness. And so their whole lifestyle has changed. And one of the ways that it has changed is that he's been hospitalized a lot of times, and Teresa has become more of a caretaker while working a full-time job, while trying to keep the house in order, while trying to connect with the extended family and her friends and what have you. And it's gotten to be a bit much. Teresa got to the point that she realized that she was harboring resentment over the years, or well, she doesn't like that word, resentment, that she was harboring feelings, uncomfortable feelings about all of the years of the broken promises. And then put another layer on that, dealing with becoming a caretaker. And so we talk about 4 areas of change in terms of what cannot and cannot be changed. So in the first area, neither one of them can change the fact that he has a health situation. That's the reality of life. But it's not the health situation that's getting her down. It's like, okay, so I'll never really get what I want. And then that's the feelings that goes underneath that. So even though she has the feelings and she accepts that she has those feelings, she can do something about those feelings and get to a place of peacefulness with it. The third part is how she thinks about it. So the underlying feelings of discomfort and irritation and frustration, she can change how she frames all of that. And she did that, and we're going to tell you about how she did that in just a couple of minutes. And then the fourth part is she can change how she responds.
Right.
So she can stay in overwhelm, or she can do something different. So in that way, she can align her feelings and her thoughts and her actions in a way that she can have a successful action plan that works for her and that is also supportive of Ted. So let's talk a little bit about what she did. So the first thing that she did, I don't see the slides. So the first thing that she did was, in a situation like this, it's like a loss. She already had a loss in terms of the broken promises. Now she has a loss of the lifestyle that she and Ted have enjoyed together all of this time. Because Ted is really a good guy. I mean, he's fun to be around, and he really is protective of her and he supports her. He just doesn't keep his promises. So she's grieving 2 things, because she's thinking, I'll never get the things that Ted promised to me. And now there's a loss of what we did have in terms of our day-to-day kind of connection and fun. And it's real important to do that grieving. The second thing is, and I guess that is part of the second thing. There's a new life. And so it's real important to adapt to it. Because when you have a loss, part of going through those stages of grieving is getting to the place of acceptance.
Right.
Accepting the reality of what is. And this is where she focused on making a change. So rather than continuing to think about how frustrated she was, she decided that she was going to come up with a new plan. This is the reality. We call it, this is the hand that was dealt. So she came up with a way to play it differently. To play it differently, based on their life situation and relationship situation. The third thing is that she made a commitment to keep herself healthy. Because one thing that happens in relationships, and not just love relationships, when one person finds themselves becoming a caretaker for the other person, they are so attentive to the other person, they neglect themselves sometimes. So when she was doing her reflective thinking, one of the things that she figured out was how to have balance and to make sure that she took care of herself and that she had a way of nourishing and renewing herself on a day-to-day basis. So she came up with practices, almost like a yoga practice that she would do on a day-to-day basis to keep her focused on the big picture. And then the next thing that she did was, because she had so much going on, is that she made sure that she had a balance of how she expended her energy.
Really important. Yeah.
So to make sure that there was a balance with the energy that she spent at home, and actually the whole time that she was at home with Ted, yes, there was a lot of caretaking, but also there was a lot of connecting with him as well. So having balance there, having balance with her career. She has a wonderful career. She loves her career. So making sure that she has balance with that, and also making sure that she has time for friends. She has a lot of friends, and making sure that she has time for that, or makes time for that. And so, and then the last thing is to make sure that she has a support network. Now, she has a lot of friends, and also there is someone who comes in to help her out during the day when she's at work, to help Ted with some of the things that he can't do on his own, at least right now. And she can also expand that support group, support network, because she has friends. They want to do things for her. And it was important for her to think about the kinds of things that she could share with friends that they could do to help her when they asked, because she's so used to doing everything herself. So that was a growth opportunity in itself.
Mm-hmm. That was important, that she identify clearly how her friends could help, who really wanted to help, but without knowing exactly what that is, they had no idea about how they could be helpful.
Yeah.
So, anyway.
Yeah, because people really do want to help.
Yeah, they do.
You know, and there were also times that she probably needed to just talk, you know, and not feel guilty about it. Talk about, you know, when she was feeling overwhelmed, to talk to someone about it, because her friends, her family, they want to be there for her. They want to be present for her and for him. And so it doesn't hurt to have someone to share, you know, right now I'm feeling overwhelmed. You know, right now I'm going through this, and just have a chance to vent
a
little bit, you know. And also, there are times that Ted is not available to hang out. I mean, they're a hangout kind of couple like we are, you know. So she's missing the fact that he cannot hang out the way that he used to. But when he can, to take advantage of it. And when he can't, that if she wants to go out and have some fun, for her not to feel guilty about it.
Yeah.
How many people do you know about who are helping people out? And if they do something for themselves, you know, they feel pretty guilty about it.
It's not very many. It's not very many. And so, well, I'm looking at it two different ways. One is that the person who is giving the help may feel guilty about it. And the person who is receiving the help may feel guilty because, you know, they may say to themselves, I don't deserve this. I shouldn't make these requests or demands, because after all, you know, she's already got a big enough load on her plate. So both persons, I think, have to be aware of and to give what the other needs in order to support them and themselves.
As best they can.
As best they can.
As best they can, yeah. And there are a lot of couples who are in that situation, and many of them are adapting and finding ways to work with it as best they can. And Teresa and Ted, they're an example of couples like that. There are other couples who are struggling because they haven't thought about ways that they're not thinking about solutions. They're thinking about how frustrating it is, and sometimes how scary it is, because your life does change. Yeah, your life does change big time. And so when Teresa had asked the question about what do I do, it's like, because especially the part about the broken promises, because she just realizes that over all these years, that if she didn't have all these other good things happening in the relationship, that she would be gone. She would have been gone a long time ago. But there's a lot of good things that are going on that works for her and for him. Mm-hmm. She did one of those, something we often have couples do, to make a list of the pros and the cons in the relationship. And so when she made the list, there were more pros than cons. But the part about the broken promises is still, when you need what you need and you want what you want, you still want it and you still need it. So grieving the loss and then coming up with what do I do now is something that was real important that she did. So after she shared those 5 areas of what she did to take care of herself, I thought, well, you answered the question for yourself. Because the other thing that she said that I was fascinated by is, she said, with all of this going on, that every day, every moment, I hold Ted in a loving space. I think about how much I love him. I think about his loving qualities, and I just keep that image before me. Mm-hmm. And I had suggested that to her, and it's something that I do myself, that in terms of like keeping her energy high and also keeping herself inspired and hopeful, that having a vision or having a focus of what it is that you want, sometimes you may not get it in the form of another person, because you never know how it could show up in other ways. That this is a 3-step process that I learned a few weeks ago that I'm using myself, that I recommended to her. And that is just on a daily basis, just to keep your energy up, is to focus on, be real clear about what you want to focus on for the day. Most people will not tell you that they want to focus on being frustrated.
All right.
So what is it that you want to focus on? What do you want to have tunnel vision on? So that's number 1. Number 2 is, what do you want to let go of? So an example could be, you want to let go of, like, one of the things that I want to let go of on a day-to-day basis, distractions that keeps me off track from my focus for the day. Let go of frustrations. It doesn't mean that you don't acknowledge them. It means that you acknowledge them, create a space of peacefulness, and then decide what you want to feel instead. And then the third part is, and this is probably, well, it is as powerful, and that is what you are grateful for. And ideally, 3. These 3. It could be more. It could be less, but ideally 3. And so that seemed to be something that Teresa said that could work for her. So that's her story. And maybe next time, we'll tell Ted's story in terms of what it's like for him, because when you're a person who has lived a full life and lifestyle with everything working for you, And then it gets to the place that you can't do the things that you used to do before. That takes a toll on that person too. So maybe we'll do a little sharing about Ted next time. And so one of the reasons why we brought up this story is because success comes in many different ways. And Teresa came up with a way to successfully deal with the reality of what she's facing right now. You know, sometimes people talk about the relationship is not perfect, but none of us are perfect.
No.
And life gives us challenges to help us to grow in ways that we didn't even know we had muscles to develop, you know. Okay, so that's their story. So what about you? What kind of situation are you in where you're feeling frustrated and you don't quite know what to do to take care of yourself so that you are in a position to give from a full cup like Teresa figured out to do? Because all those things that she figured out to do was a way to fill her cup so that she could be in a place to have balance in her life. And when she was, and every time that she was with Ted, she was with Ted with a full cup and giving from a full cup. So we'd love to hear your questions about that. And here's the thing. We'll take your questions online, and any questions after the show, we'll be happy to answer them as well. And Brian will help us to find out where the questions are. Brian, our son, is our producing and technical person, so he knows how to pull all the stuff together because we don't. So if you have questions, we would love to hear them. We also have a Facebook group. Those of you who are in the Facebook group, feel free to ask questions. And after we do the Jesse and Melva Live, we go to the Facebook group and we look for questions on there too. And also let people know that there's a replay that they can listen to. All right. So what did we cover today? See, I don't see any questions right now. Yeah. So what did we cover today? We covered another way of looking at how to be successful in love, marriage, and life. Dealing with a challenge that you don't have any control over, that neither one of you have any control over. And came up with 5 self-care steps that anybody can take to support them to stay on track so they don't drain themselves, and also put themselves in a place of embracing the life of their dreams, even though it's going to look differently now. And then the other thing is giving you an opportunity to think about, if you're in a situation like that, what would you do? And if Teresa's, the plan that she came up with to fill up her cup, to see if that would work for you. And we would also, we said in the beginning that we were going to offer a free complimentary consultation, because when we share these ideas on the Jesse and Melva Live, they also go on our podcast. They record it and they go on our podcast. That when we answer these questions and offer the consultation, we want to give people an opportunity to have a jump start.
Right. To
take one small action step to begin the process, to start turning things around. Because it takes 2 to tangle, Tangle, but it only takes 1 to untangle,
Right.
UNTANGLE. Now, but when you do the tango, TANGO, and do it with that kind of grace and what have you, that's a beautiful thing to watch.
Sure is.
That's a beautiful thing to experience. So anyway, so we're inviting complimentary consultations. So in closing, Mr. J.
Yes.
Any closing thoughts?
Well, I guess my thought is that it's not necessary for people to be stuck where they have been by being angry and upset and so on with their partner because, as you were saying, maybe you're not getting what you want. You don't know how to get what you want. And so therefore, you may feel, kind of down and dejected and those kinds of things. And I'm thinking right now of a couple that we both know who had the same kind of a situation. And in their relationship. And they decided that rather than being upset and angry and resentful toward each other, that they thought about, well, what is it that my partner needs and what can I do to help them to get what they need so we both will be happy. And so they did that, they figured that out, and it has worked very well for them. It could have been a disaster, but they figured out how to turn that around and to really make it a rewarding, wonderful, fulfilling experience for both of them. So it is possible. And so just don't think about us as being the model couple who has figured all this stuff out and so forth. No, we haven't done this alone. We've taken great lessons from other people that we've known over the years. And so we invite you to join us and others on this journey. And just know that you can turn things around and can find a deeper connection and meaning. And and I would say that would be important because of how you have supported me in finding new ways and better ways of being able to be together.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. All right. Mr. J.
Yeah.
And thank you for joining us for Jesse Live with Jesse and Melva. And we look forward to next time. So think about self-care for yourself and the ways that you're taking care of yourself in your relationship, no matter what is going on.
Right.
Join us for a telephone consultation. It's just clicking on a link, jesseandmelva.com. Click on the Contact Us tab. Just put in your name, email address. It'll come straight to us. We'll set it up. Looking forward to connecting with you next time. Thank you for joining us again. Take care.
All right.